Welcome to the Shiawarma show.
The only show that ain't boring and actually discusses real stuff in complete depth. So fasten your seatbelts, and we're not playing, so just get ready.
You ready? Okay. I'm me, and she's she. And if you don't know us, that's your problem, not ours.
So let's do this.
All right, Kath, what are we talking about today then?
Oh, my very favorite. But before I get into the what, I'm going to have to start with a very strong disclaimer.
Oh.
So for those faint of heart, walk away now and walk away really fast because we are bringing on the ugly and the retarded.
Okay.
And yes, you have guessed, we're going to talk about Wahhabism and Wahhabistan. So it's also known under its little pet name called Saudi freaking Arabia. And the devolute mess that is Western foreign policy. So from where we're sitting is like a regular Sunday, really.
Excellent. So, earlier on this week, these, I suppose you'd call them Daesh nutjobs, although that's being polite, decided that they'd go away and start taking out and, pointing their guns and pointing their rhetoric against Iran. For what reason?
Surprise!
For daring to abide by Islamic principles of religious freedom and tolerance towards all communities. So, yeah, this is what these psychos do. What can I say? So, for those who view, who have an idea that Islam, still exists within bloodshed and rejection and sectarianism, you might want to go and read something called the Constitution of Medina. One of the pillars of the Islamic system of governance. Because
we have this?
Oh God!
Yes. Seriously, hold on 1 second. Just back up. Do we have this? Seriously?
Oh, good grief!
So we civilized and organized and everything?
Oh, good grief! Yes, of course we have it.
Wow, I didn't get that memo. I need to read that little piece of paper called Constitution of Medina because we're retarded. We need to learn about those things.
Well, we'll be putting a link to it down below in a bit. But this entire text was actually written by Prophet Muhammad. It is the principles and the laws, and like the Quran, it's not something which is going to be randomly abrogated. So
yeah, because you don't actually disagree with him like ever.
Yeah, this is the thing.
No, like never.
Now, for all of these Wahhabi, Takfiri things, whatever name you want to stick on these nut jobs, right? They need to understand that the Constitution of Medina is permanently valid.
And therefore make them invalid, I would argue that.
Well, but anyway, of course, absolutely, yes.
So here's the thing. So what is it that Daesh said? And I have to say, please allow me. It's my great pleasure to say thank you for the stupidity that is Daesh, because, boy, they are so predictable in their, it's not retardation, what would be the word? Not stupidity either. Lunacy or... Just help me out here because I'm running out of adjectives to slap on those
I think retardation is actually not a bad word, but nowadays with all this political correctness, you're not supposed to use that.
It's not retarded. That would actually require for them to have more than 2 brain cells to actually rub against each other. I'm not sure they have any.
Okay, and their delusion. Because look, let's be honest, they live in a deluded world. I don't know where they found this world.
I'm not actually quite sure they live in the world at all. I think there's a special dimension for them. And, they're living among the jinns.
I think the jinns...
I would like them to go back to wherever they come from.
No, the
really
jinns, I have it on good authority, the jinns have actually taken objection to that statement. And they're all clicking...
That's bad.
They are clicking the dislike button.
That's bad news for Daesh because, that's bad. They want their banner back.
The jinns are now pissed. And they are just not happy. They want nothing to be... They don't want to be associated with these nut jobs.
So you're telling me that the devil himself, a.k.a. Iblis, actually, called them apostate of his own army? That's bad.
Even the devil says... Well,
God is... You can't even ask for political asylum. It's just they're screwed.
There is a place that will give them political asylum, though.
Yeah, it's cool. Does it start with an H? And it spells HELL, something like that?
It is.
Is that the case?
Strangely enough.
Yeah.
I hear it's some sort of bottomless pit.
Like I said, Iblis wants its banner back.
Exactly. Exactly. So what are we talking about? We're saying that there is this 36-minute video that came out a few days ago. It's called The Land of Furs, which is like the Persian land, the Iranian land, from yesterday until today. And this was issued by...
Super original.
Oh, God,
It's a good title.
You know. And this was issued through the Daesh social media channels. Most of the time they're controlled...
Yippee!
Yeah, they're normally controlled out of, I think it's let's just not go there. Everyone knows who kind of like promotes them. But anyway.
Oh, so hold on one second. So everybody knows where it is, and yet it doesn't get drawn, bombed, or taken out?
Oh, heaven forfend, it's protected. It's looked after.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to catch up with this whole like propaganda, lying to the world kind of thing.
Well,
sorry, my bad.
The thing is, right, look, every time these nut jobs, these psychos, these criminals, these dogs, although apologies to all dogs.
No. Like I said before, dogs are fluffy. Dogs are cute. Don't. Just don't. I mean, no. We're going to have phone calls after from pet lovers, and I just don't want to handle that.
Okay, all of these
cockroaches would be good.
Insert thing here. These people, whenever they want to push out a video, if it's of someone being beheaded or someone burning or someone doing this or it's always there. It always gets there in glorious HD.
This is the PR guy.
I'm telling you, they have some awesome PR going on. I mean, the videos are never lost. But I digress. So in this video that these people these things issued, you have this masked man, and he directs his message to the supreme leader of Iran, that's Ayatollah Khamenei. And he says, and I quote, and I'm quoting, he says, "Oh Khamenei, you cursed person who controls the so-called Islamic Iranian regime, rest assured that soon we will destroy your house, blah, blah, blah." He says, and he points to ruins behind him and all of this gibberish, right? The video also turns around and chastises Iran for its tolerance towards the Jews. It says, he quotes...
I'm laughing.
He quotes, "Iran raises its slogans against the US and Israel to deceive the Sunnis, while Iranian Jews live in safety in Iran under its protection. And it has provided them with temples and churches, as seen in Tehran and Isfahan," the narrator says. And, it sort of goes on like this, ad nauseum. I mean, the guy's a very ugly guy. He's, like, never had a haircut, same sort of...
Well, yeah, no, they need a makeover. But hold on, so what's wrong with that picture?
Well, you see,
this like everything. But here's the thing. Okay, that's why I'm saying, like, that's why I said thank you for being stupid.
Oh, it's brilliant.
So essentially, because I don't know if you heard, but, America is super angry. Because, Iran has this slogan, "Death to America, death to Israel," right?
Yes.
Well, Daesh just explained it. It's against the system, not against the people.
Exactly.
So essentially, you have Daesh accusing Iran of being religiously tolerant towards other religious minorities in its country.
Absolutely.
Something that Washington is actually denying and saying that Iran is bad because Iran wants everybody else dead.
Yep.
But then Daesh wants to kill Iran and is criticizing Ayatollah Khamenei because he's being a tolerant man that is actually abiding by the rules and regulations otherwise set forth by the Prophet of Islam. That's what you're telling me.
Yep. I mean, there's a very simple sentence I can use to sum up this entire thing. It's essentially a case of Frankenstein built a monster that built a monster, and now everything is beeped. And that's just it.
No, but this is cute, but here's the thing. So, Saudi Arabia, who is financing Daesh, and Daesh, who is being armed by, the Western world, just essentially dig the hole, through Saudi Arabia in, and then on top of it, the Western world, then just went about just filling that hole with dirt, and just sat on it and set fire to the whole thing.
Yep, that pretty much sums it up.
We don't actually need to defend Iran at all because Daesh just basically vindicated Iran just right there, right?
Yep, because when you have these
So again, can I just laugh now because and say like, can we clap? Can we say thank you, Daesh, for being stupid?
We can. We'd like to,
yeah, I'm clapping. Yeah, thank you.
For Daesh, yes.
Idiots.
We're happy that if someone like you, Daesh, turns around and curses Ayatollah Khamenei, this is a good thing. This is a good
thing.
It
is a really good thing because
they're
like nutters.
It's about, and
absolute
secondly,
nutters. So basically, hold on, just wait up.
Go on.
So basically, by association, I mean, I'm just trying to be just logical here. I know that it hurts Daesh to do that, but I'm trying to be logical.
Go on.
So if Iran is indeed tolerant towards religious minorities, and Daesh is not by definition, so Saudi Arabia is not by definition, why the heck is Washington? Do you know the country? What is it? A nation under God, right?
Ah, one nation under God.
Assuming that God is in capital G, not like lower.
But I have a question.
And not just
I have a question.
Normal. So
are we sure
you are befriending someone who wants you dead, and where I come from, that's just called suicide.
Aha! But this is the problem,
isn't it? I don't know.
This is the problem. You see, the problem I think with America, right? And this is in all seriousness, right? And I'm reaching out. I'm reaching out to the Donald over here, and to anyone else who's listening. I'm reaching out to him because I'm feeling his pain, right? And I'm telling him, Donald,
he's confused.
You're in a
his
world
daughter is Jewish, so he would want to listen.
Yeah, he needs to listen. This is important, right? Because we know Donald. He's an entrepreneur. He likes business, right? That's what he is. Let's be honest, right? He's not really a president. He's just a businessman, right?
He likes money.
He likes money. It's a good thing. It's not a problem. I don't mind. But he needs to understand something. He needs to understand about America. And this is really important. You see, he's under this illusion that America is somehow independent, which is the biggest load of horse excrement I've ever heard.
Don't say the word. Don't say the word. I know where you're going. That's rude. Yeah. I'm going to have to bleep you.
Yeah. America is not independent. America is a slave of two very big powers that have actually come together. They're now working in unison. And that happens to be an organization called the AIPAC, the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee.
Also known as the Devil's HQ.
That's the one. And the second entity is called the Family of Saud. These two people.
It's like could we have some? What is the song of Star Wars with the Death Star? Because we need to just play it whenever you say their name.
Let me find it. Yes, we'll add it. I know that one. We can add that in the edit near the end. I'll try and edit this out. But okay, let's move on. But yes, Wahhabism, or the Saudi family, and that entire infrastructure, along with AIPAC, are throwing so much money at American politicians. The American politicians have forgotten what country they're working for, what country they were elected by, because they don't know if the people elected them, or if AIPAC and the Saudis put them where they are. So they're not.
But here's the thing: even when they actually try. Because, to be fair with you, and Donald Trump is not my favorite person in the world, but there you go. He was democratically elected. You can't really deny that. But that being said, look at the crap that has been thrown at him just because, I'm not agreeing with his policies or anything, because I think he's a bit of a nutter as well, a different kind of nutter.
Yes.
But, he was elected, so basically he's representing the people of the US, and that's fair enough. Mm-hmm. Look at the amount of lobbying and criticizing, and I don't know what they're throwing at him.
Yeah, they're making sure he can't do anything.
He happens to be representing the will of the people. It's insane. You had Netanyahu to threaten and not threaten, and polish his shoes and not polish his shoes, and bring a box of bonbons or whatever it is that he's done to be able to kind of bring him around. And then you had Prince Salman again, threatening and polishing the shoes and bringing some, not chocolate, but maybe something else. I don't know what he's brought, but whatever. Yep. Trying to just, massage him into becoming a neocon or something.
You see, the thing is, all of this has probably got a large amount to do with 28 pages that the Saudis really worked hard to try and prevent from being published. And also something like 700 and something billion US dollars of investment money that this little family of Saud happens to have and hold like a sort of Damocles over the American administration. And that's how they...
So basically, it's like they own America's...
Well, you see...
I'm not going to say backyard, they own the land that America sits on,
Well,
basically.
You see, they think this, right? And to an extent, I think American politicians, or at least some of these clowns who float around and advise politicians, because I think we need to actually do a full program on how American democracy works at some point, because I don't think people understand it. I mean, I don't think the Americans understand it. Leave us.
No, I'm not quite sure. Forget us. I mean, if the American people don't get it.
Exactly. So maybe that's something that we can put down for a future program. If you want that as a future program, stick something in the comments below. But when you have this type of system, the politicians don't really know who they're working for. And they don't know which direction. They don't know if they're coming or going.
Well, they're working for the bank accounts, I would say, because they're receiving like an awful lot of money from, I don't know, the war complex, for example, just to make sure that whatever policies they're pushing is in alignment with, neocons and the rest of them. And the neocons are being, financed by lobby, coming out of Tel Aviv and Riyadh. So
yes,
by extension.
It's all basically, there seems to be like an alignment and a convergence of all of this junk, all of this rubbish.
It's just not new. I mean, come on, seriously though, because people say, "Oh my God,"
no, it's not new.
With desire. Well, it's not new.
No, it's not new.
No,
at
seriously,
all.
If you look at history, I mean, when is it that Saudi Arabia, Wahhabistan, has ever, and I mean like ever, done anything to stop Israel?
Oh well, come on, let's be honest, right? We know, everyone knows. The only time Saudi did anything was in the time of King Faisal, who was then subsequently shot.
Well, that's an interesting development, see, because I agree with you. He was the only one to actually just like offer some kind of a whisper, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a whisper.
Exactly. I mean, let's.
And then he gets shot.
He got shot, and then we had the really hyper, super ugly, I think, Fahad or Khalid came in.
Could you, here's the thing, seriously, I invite all our listeners here to actually go and Google, like the Al Saud family, and you're going to have the picture of nightmare, because it's seriously, like I said
scary.
Before, Dajjal had kids, and I mean, I'm sure he was married many times over, but oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, like the family picture is actually quite scary.
Oh, you have no idea. It's, in fact, I heard that when the Saudi family were getting together and they'd hired the cameramen to come along and take pictures, there was about 60 or 70 cameramen, right? And none of them could take the pictures because they would go there and the camera would shatter.
They all got like an aneurysm just looking at
the camera would just explode.
God, too much ugly.
And then what happened is he had this fellow, interestingly, he was probably an Israeli, and he had this camera that had a lens that was about 2 miles deep and thick. And he was far enough away to be protected. And the lens did crack in the beginning, which is why there is a little bit of cracking on the picture. But he managed to get the picture. And they paid him an inordinate amount to do that.
Are you serious right now?
Well, whether that's a true or false story...
I'm not actually surprised that, that would happen, but...
Whether that's a true or false story...
That concentration of weirds in just one place, stuff are bound to happen. I'm actually surprised the Earth didn't stop spinning. Wait a second.
Well, how do we know it didn't? We would have all fallen off. Let's not
Probably
forget
that, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, maybe actually, global warming, maybe it's their fault. Like, they're bringing hell closer to Earth. It's all their fault. I have to just get rid of them.
Hey, look, living where we are, I think global warming is awesome if we're going to get better summers. And on that bombshell, I think we can say that we've reached the end of this first segment. We'll see everyone very, very soon in the second bit. And see you guys soon. Thank you.
شصت و 5 سال است که تلاش می‌کنند نام فلسطین را از یادها ببرند. چجور؟ با ایجاد اختلافات، با جنگ‌های داخلی، با ترویج افراطگری انحرافی به نام اسلام و به نام دین و شریعت.
وأنا أوجه رسالتي إلى العالم إن لم يتوقف سفك الدماء في سوريا سيكون الشعب السوري كله الصقار.
این جریان‌های تکفیری که در دنیای اسلام به وجود آمدن، وجودشان یک مژده است برای استکبار برای دشمنان جهان اسلام اینا هستن که به جای توجه به واقعیت خبیث رژیم صهیونیستی توجه ها رو به جای دیگری معطوف میکنن.
تكبير الله اكبر يا الله بابا عمر بس تطالع قلوبهم بأسمع.
فرمانده مخالفان مسلح حکومت سوریه که بدن سربازی را درید و بر قلبش گاز زد درباره انگیزه‌اش از این کار با BBC گفتگو کرد.
تلویزیون‌ها نشان میدن یه آدمی را که به نام اسلام جگر یک انسانی رو داره میجوه و میخوره. درباره اسلام چه فکر میکنن؟ دشمنان اسلام برنامه‌ریزی کردن. اینها چیزهایی نیست که دفعتاً به وجود بیاد. پشت سرش سیاست هست، پشت سرش پول هست، دستگاه‌های جاسوسی پشت سر این جور کارها هستن. وجودشان یک مژده است برای استکبار برای دشمنان جهان اسلام.
Thank you and welcome back to the second segment of today's Shiawarma show. So, what are we talking about in this segment, Kath?
Well, for this segment, I actually like to get into the whole history of Wahhabism, Wahhabistan, aka Saudi Arabia, and the whole Black Flag Army thing.
Okay.
Because believe it or not, but those suckers have actually been around for, the block a few times.
They only turned up a little while ago.
No. Because people tend to think like, oh my God, Daesh just showed up. No.
They've been around before?
They've been around, it's been about since the 18th century, to be precise. You could go back even in another 14th century, but I'm not going to get into that, just not today anyway.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Go on.
So Daesh is not new, except it was known under another name. We'll get to that as well. They were called Ikhwan. So for anyone who speaks Arabic, it actually means brotherhood. So that would rhyme with something called the Muslim Brotherhood that you might have heard about. And those two are just a different kind of crazy. They are the moderate crazy. That's the word that the West love to use.
Moderate
but basically, crazy. Daesh has been used as a weapon of mass destabilization this time around. So before, they were just being used as a weapon of mass genocide. And today is mass destabilization and genocide. So it's getting better.
But hold on a minute, right? Hold on a minute.
As we move forward.
Some people would turn around and say that, is it the same Muslim Brotherhood that you're talking about that, I think, what was his name? Mr. Morsi ran in Egypt?
Yes and no, because they have, it's like the Gemini. They have many faces.
Okay.
So I don't know if anyone is watching the Game of Thrones, that would be, do you know this god of many faces? They kind of look like, that. So depending on the days of the week or the year or how crazy they feel, they are more or less, bloodthirsty. So sometimes they're nicer, and sometimes they're just really angry, and sometimes they're having a full flat out, Captagon, episode. So it just really depends. But in the case of Morsi, they came out looking nice for 5 seconds and say, we want to, bring social justice. So everybody was like, yeah. After Hosni Mubarak, everything looked better.
To be fair, after
and then
that...
he went on flat out insane.
Well, the thing is, I used to actually, full disclosure, I used to actually quite like Mr. Morsi.
Oh, me too. No, believe it or not, I actually wrote extensive articles defending his face because I was actually making the case of, political Islam, pluralism, and all the rest of it. And boy, oh boy, was I wrong. So I'm making a massive mea culpa. Because I defended that.
Yep.
And I'm just I could kick myself right now.
Well, to be fair, Kath,
and there's another dude too. There's another dude, I have full disclosure. Erdogan, do you know the psycho in Turkey?
Oh.
Yeah, him too. For 5 minutes, I actually beved it was a good idea. So yeah, another kick in the head.
Same. Same. I think, and of course, let's not forget. Anyway, let's not go there. But the thing about Mr. Morsi, the thing that really upset me about him, it was almost like heartbreaking, is when he turned around and started going out full on against, I believe he was even in Iran. I think it was the OIC conference, if memory serves me right. And he comes along, he's on the podium and he starts going off on a rant against Dr. Bashar al-Assad of Syria. He just went off on one.
Yeah.
And, it was like, come on, dude, what's wrong with you? Are you high? Are you nuts? What's wrong?
But this is a dumb question you're asking. Are you high? Yeah. Hello, Captagon.
Hey, fair comment. But he should have not taken it before making a speech. It just makes his speech
I said,
useless.
this is like you're telling someone stop breathing for 5 seconds. They don't know how to do that.
Actually, with some of these people, it would probably be a good thing. But carry on.
But you mean to stop breathing? Oh, yeah. Actually, you make a point. Okay, I'll shut up now.
Go on, carry on. You were saying I interrupted you.
No, I was just saying that, so, Wahhabism has been around for a while. The Takfiri, Salafi, whatever the hell you want to call them, clerics, have been vomiting their crap for centuries. This is not new. I mean, I think they built puppets just for that purpose. And here's the argument, and this is what actually gets me. So the argument that people have been having for, again, 14 centuries, is that there's this massive divide, in the Islamic world, and that, on one side you have Shia Islam, on the other Sunni Islam, and, the two brothers bound forever to hate each other and chop off each other's head, blah, 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 da. Well, newsflash, it's not true. It doesn't actually exist. So I'm going to play semantic for just 2 seconds.
Go on.
And ask you this question. And it might sound a dumb question for most people because you're like, oh, duh, we know what it is. But actually, you don't.
Go on.
So what is Sunni and what is Shia Islam, actually? Because here's the thing.
Okay.
I don't think that anyone, because the argument is about legitimacy, essentially. So we're not talking about religiosity. We're not talking about different festivals. We're just talking about legitimacy. Okay. And I will seriously challenge anyone to argue with me right now that Prophet Muhammad's injunction in Khadir, because it's a historical fact, so it's not open for debate.
Yep.
It happened.
Yep.
The things that he said. It was recorded, done in history. There were too many people present there to just say, for someone to turn around and say, oh, it wasn't there. Because I know they tried. I know they're arguing even that Hadith doesn't exist. It might be in a different dimension. I read that. Someone was smart enough to say, it made no sense for the Prophet to stop there, and yet he did. So get over it.
Well, you see, the thing that I find quite strange in some of the arguments about this is, what we're talking about is where the Prophet turned around, stopped everyone, and said, "Guys, whoever I'm the master of, Ali is the master." Right? This is one of the events. No, it's one of the events. Even
about that, because he's the thing that people tend to forget. So of course, he named Imam Ali as his successor, but not just successor. I mean, the word that he used is actually covering everything from the religious to the social to the legal to the political to everything. So he was the leader with a capital L.
Did you know that some people translate the word Mola to mean friend?
Well, there you go.
So can you imagine Imam Ali, right? Like Prophet Muhammad in the middle of the desert.
He was everything.
No. Think about it this way, right? Look at how void just the translation of friend is. You have Prophet Muhammad coming back from this Hajj. You've got people massed out in the desert, thousands of people, tens of thousands of people. Prophet says, okay, guys, stop. I want you to give me all the saddles and we'll make a pulpit, and then I need to tell you something. And he says a whole load of things. He talks about the completion of Quran, etc., because he had the revelation.
And he said, let me cut you here. He said, if you do not tell them, this is important, if you do not tell them, it is as if you haven't told them anything.
Exactly.
So
if you don't do this,
what it means essentially is that if people don't accept that revelation, you might as well just, don't bother.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, just go home, go back to being a pagan, and just worship a statue because you didn't get the message.
Exactly.
Like literally didn't get the message.
But then Prophet stops people and says something of that magnitude, right? And then he turns around and holds Imam Ali's hand and says, guys, if I'm your friend, Ali's your friend. Really? It can't be. The word Mawla in that context cannot be just friend. It's too weak.
Yeah, but I think that's the least of a problem. But here's the other thing, because I'm gonna let people disagree on Hadith.
They can disagree. That's fine.
Yeah, disagree. But here's the other thing.
Go on.
What do you do with the hadith called the two weighty things. Because last time I checked, and again, I might be wrong, it's in both Al-Bukhari and Al-Muslim. Last time I checked, those are actually Sunni scholars, right? Recognized Sunni scholars.
Yes.
So what do you do with it? Because the Prophet clearly said, and it has been recorded everywhere, and I mean like across the board.
Yep.
No contention. That you have to follow the Quran and Ahl al-Bayt.
Well, then you get some people getting very confused about what Ahl al-Bayt is, but we're not going to go there right now.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So basically, there is no such thing as Sunni and Shia, because if you look even, what is Sunnah? Sunnah means doing what the Prophet was doing, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So what is Sunni Islam, but the enactment of that hadith? I'm asking the question in all honesty.
It should be.
What is Sunni Islam if not the enactment of that hadith? And it's two things, again, Quran and Ahl al-Bayt.
Yes.
So if we look at this, and I mean, it's okay if people want to disagree with the hadith, that's cool, but it's still in the book.
It's there, exactly. It's
there.
In black and white.
So my question is, there is no real divide. The only thing that there is that some people decided to follow Khadir.
Yep.
And some people choose not to, but it's a free country. That's the thing about Islam. In religion, there shall be no compulsion. So if you want to follow for the love of God. Just follow whoever you want to follow.
All right.
But don't deny what was said.
How about this, right? How about we do this? People should not look at Islam as like a buffet. All right? As like a buffet. As like a, on a buffet table. It's not just randomly pick and choose day. That's not what it's about.
Yeah, there's no menu, right? And you're like, nah.
Exactly.
Yes.
You either follow or you don't. But the problem lies, whichever way you go, whether you follow or you don't, the problem is with you, as in with us, as opposed to with Islam. Islam is Islam is Islam. It's there, right? It's how you choose to follow it.
No, and the thing is, people are behaving with Islam as if they own it. I got newsflash for you guys. It's not ours.
Exactly. I mean, we can't project our own issues and wants and needs and present them somehow as Islam.
And agendas. And agendas. The whole mess, the whole divide is actually just about stupid political agendas.
Exactly. We turn around, people turn around, and they don't like X, or they don't want Y, or blah, or whatever the case might be, and they turn around and say, he's a kafir, or he's a this, he's a that. Right? What we need to understand is just because someone says it so, doesn't make it so. Islam is the thing that defines what it is. Islam is very well defined, very clearly defined, and that's what we need to understand. We need to go to the people who know what Islam is, go back to the original sources, and that will tell us. We need to understand, so to speak, our position within the entire food chain. We cannot allow ourselves or others to project their own random issues into Islam and thereby just mess with Islam and say, oh, this person's different, so they're following blah, and they're apostates, which is something, interestingly, the Wahhabis are masters at doing. This
is the entire creed that they follow. Is like living in exclusion of everybody and everything, like all the time.
Exactly. And I want to come in over here with a really important point, because I know the Wahhabis who are listening here, hey guys, they're going to be turning around.
We don't like you.
Yeah, we love you.
But, no, we don't.
Well, yeah. Anyway,
no. They're going to take you literally. No, we don't.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. I don't love you. You're just confused. But anyway, I want to make a very, very important point over here. Wahhabism is going to try and tell our brothers of the Sunnah that, these people, they're the Shia, they're the Kafir, they're doing this, they're doing that. I just want to make... And they'll tell the Sunni brothers that we are somehow against them. We need to make that very clear. Sunni Islam, there is naught wrong with it. Absolutely nothing, right?
Nothing at all. 100% agree with you. I mean, people are free to decide what they want to believe.
Totally. The problem is that if Sunni Islam has been hijacked and perverted by the scum of the earth...
it has been. That's the problem. It has been.
Absolutely. And let's not forget, it's not just Sunni Islam that's had this problem. There are elements of so-called Shia which have also been corrupted by the Wahhabis. We know this, you and me both, from bitter experience.
Oh, yeah, because
Right?
this is what they do. They actually, because here's the thing. I remember Imam Ali saying that actually Islam is the religion of the middle.
Yes.
Meaning, you need to get over yourself for 5 seconds and realize that it's about balance. It's about allowing people to have that space where they can just decide for themselves. But at the same time, you need to make sure that you're not becoming a radical or an exclusionist. It's a balancing act. It's difficult. You need wisdom, which is why you need guidance, by the way.
Which is why, I just want to say one important thing before we move away from this. But what you're saying is absolutely right. It leads into what I'm saying. I think it was last year, if memory serves me. Yeah, last year, the Grand Mufti of Al-Azhar.
Yes, that place in Egypt.
The School of Learning in Egypt. I'm having a sort of speaking moment.
It's like a Captain Enlightenment. What have you been doing? What have you been doing this weekend? I'm asking.
It's called research. But anyway.
On Wahhabism, I see.
So no, look, it was only like around last year, I think, the Mufti of Azhar turned around and publicly rejected this corruption known as Wahhabism and Takfirism.
Actually, like in Saudi Arabia, Wahhabistan. People need to learn to call it Wahhabistan. They actually had a meltdown over this one, and as you would say, they actually had babies, many little babies.
Good. This is good for them. Hopefully, the babies will turn around and finish
bite them.
Yes. I mean, Wahhabism.
Can you imagine, like, mental image, little cannibals, babies just biting off, the like little galabias and going like,
But you know what? It's important for people to understand. Wahhabism is not actually a school of thought. It is a perversion of Islam of the highest order. The same way that Zionism is not a school of thought, it's a perversion of the Judaic law. The same way Wahhabism is a perversion of Islam. It's got nothing to do. These two are not the same. And we need to make this very clear. So that the Wahhabis have this tendency, a lot of people have talked about it, they desperately need, and when I say Wahhabis, I mean Wahhabis on all sides of the spectrum. They have this desire to create sedition, to create sectarianism, to create hatred between people.
Because they don't have legs to stand on. Exactly. I mean, how can you even justify? Can you imagine yourself, you knock on some door and say, hey, would you like to be part of my gang? And the person goes, what do you believe in? We believe in killing people and bloodshed all the time. I mean, who's going to sign up for that?
Serial killers, psychopaths.
Well, exactly. That was a rhetorical question. Don't answer that.
But you know what I mean. The thing is, right, what we need to make very clear is these ideas of Wahhabism, they have no space, no place in Islam. They need to be treated.
They don't have space anywhere. Forget
No,
Islam.
they have no place in humanity.
It's like the big black that we need to get rid of because they're black.
Exactly. Now, on that point, I think what we now need to do is this has gotten a little bit dark when we're talking about all of these dementors called Wahhabis. So,
the Harry Potter reference.
Oh, well, what can I say?
It's like, it's like Voldemort. He who shall not be named.
Well, to be fair, the big sheikh, I don't know what his name is, or the thing.
No, not him. That's just like, he's like the king of the orcs.
I think the orcs would take great objection to that.
Oh, maybe. But anyway, so can we go back to like the fun part of the segment now? Because I want to talk about another war criminal.
Oh.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Blair has joined the circus, the Wahhabistan.
You mean Tony B. Liar?
Or the Tony Blair, as I call him now. But
that's the one.
So here's the thing: there was this little piece of literature.
Okay.
I would say it's even actually quite worthy of a white helmet Oscar.
Ooh.
I mean, if you ask me, that's just me. That was published in the Washington Post. So here's the thing.
Okay.
I actually happen to have a really good friend of mine that works for the Washington Post. She's an editor.
Oh dear.
So let me just say this one thing. I'm like, Susan, what the hell is wrong with you? And did you hit your head on the way out?
Well,
because girl, you are a smart woman. What the hell was that?
So let's tell the people what this particular story is. So you had, Mr. Tony B. Liar speaking at the opening session of the American-Israel Public Affairs Committee at their annual policy conference in Washington, D.C.
Oh, because they don't even, because the headquarters, right? Because they don't do it in Tel Aviv.
No.
Sorry, they're running policies in Washington.
Exactly. Washington is occupied,
It's like Zion Central.
So over here, Mr. B. Liar called for in inverted commas, a tough line against the Islamic Republic of Iran. We have to say Iran.
And you pronounced it like they do.
You have to. There's a joke about this. There's something
Iran.
funny. When they say Iran? Yeah. So I turned around one time to an American friend of mine and I said, why do you guys say Iran? And he said, Iran and Iran and Iran and Iran. And I wanted to get far away because they were so scared.
They're so sad.
They just ran. Right? But anyway,
they should. Coming back,
right?
Keep running.
So, Tony Blair, or B. Liar, is calling for a tough line against the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Yes, he does.
And this is coming from Tony Blair, who is a hardened war criminal. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could laugh, I could cry, I could probably fill an ocean about right now.
No,
he said, wait for it. He said, this is his quote. And I can't do his accent, sorry, but I'm just going to do it like an American because it's just as stupid. If you had a benign regime in Iran, all of the problems in the Middle East would be resolvable. Blair said on Sunday, we have to push back real hard, he said.
Oh, wow. So, okay, I'm just going to ask just one question.
Okay.
Where are those weapons of mass destruction, Mr. Whatever, mister?
Those weapons of mass destruction were actually weapons of mass distraction.
Oh, can I say something else? Can I just say, bugger off, Mr. Blair? And I mean, bugger off and go fly your kite somewhere with the sun. Preferably don't shine, ever.
Or better yet, just fly into the sun.
A benign regime in Iran. What the hell is that supposed to mean?
Well,
as opposed to what? As opposed to the psychos in Saudi, Wahhabis and Arabia?
Well, you see, this is where it gets very interesting. The words of the illustrious Mr. B. Liar, this war criminal who very democratic because he ignored the demands of his electorate and went to war in Iraq.
That was the least of his problem. Forget democratic. The dude is insane. He literally sacrificed. He actually put an entire people, and you're talking millions of people, in the line of fire just because he had an aneurysm and wanted to follow George W. Bush in a little, war party, thinking he was the bloody Viking.
Well, you see, the problem was Tony B. Liar turned around and said that he needs to be, and I mean no offense to dogs, but he needs to be the lapdog of the United States. He had
He was like a French poodle. I don't like French poodle, so I'm going to say he was the French poodle.
Coming from someone who's French, possibly, I can deal with
What do you mean possibly? I just reject whatever heritage you're trying to slap on my face right now.
So anyway, right, this guy, Mr. Tony B. Liar, right? He's considered the Middle East Quartet envoy, or wait for it, this is better. Someone ringing bells everywhere. See, even the bells don't like it when I call him the Middle East Quartet.
No, this is what happens because the world is rejecting whatever is coming out.
It's insane. It's like, you've got the peace envoy. He's called a peace envoy. This is a guy who's a war criminal.
It's called what?
He's a peace envoy.
Right, okay. So, I mean, you mean when you go around the world just calling for more wars, that makes you peaceful, right?
Exactly. But what's even more interesting is this nutjob is echoing the words of who? Netanyahu, Mohammed bin Salman, and other nutjobs,
From the land of Wahhabistan.
From the guys, from Wahhabistan,
Yeah, but actually, this is what gets me. I mean, people are not stupid. I refuse to believe that people are not intelligent because they are. When you have someone like Tony Blair, and don't let this, the color of his skin fool you, or the haircut, or just, even the accent. Mm-hmm. When he's aligning himself and everything that he stands for, and actually everything that comes out of his mouth, with the like of Mohammed bin Salman, who is running a genocide against Yemen right now, you need to be scared and actually question, is the guy rational? And the answer is no, of course not.
Unless he's very rational, but his desire is ethnic cleansing, in which case he's evil. But
I think we established that because, hello, Iraq happened. People have a short memory. Iraq bloody happened. And the thing is, if you look at what happened, I'm going to say pre-Daesh Iraq, okay?
Yes.
And you're looking at the crimes that were committed in Iraq. Daesh did not invent anything. If anything, they just carried on. And
Exactly.
didn't even come up with new ideas. They just carried on. Can we please remember?
Daesh was created because of what Tony Blair did.
No, Daesh was created because the Americans needed a way out of Iraq and actually to be able to raise the Black Flag Army so that they would be able to blame it on, guess what, Iran, which is completely ridiculous because Daesh is actually Wahhabi.
And they want to kill Iran, as they have now said.
Whatsoever.
The thing is, this is very, very bizarre. Like, I mean, I know we're talking about it, we're trying to make somewhat light of it maybe, but realistically, to the viewers and listeners, you guys need to like really wake up and get a grip. Your politicians are just a bunch of lying, pathological lying scum. All they do is take your money, take your vote, take your trust, and throw it into people like Tony B. Liar, making him a peace envoy, for God's sake.
No,
right?
And I mean, the guy, what is it that he said? It's against extremism in favor of mutual respect across boundaries, race, faith, and culture. Is he on crack or something? I mean, no, just hold on a second. If you go back to the first segment, where you have Daesh accusing Iran of being, tolerant.
Yep.
Now you have Blair, who is accusing Iran of being intolerant. Which one is it? Pick one. For the love of God, just pick a line, stick to it, and try to make sense out of it all. Because you can't.
They can't. This is the problem.
You
it's
can't
all over the
argue
place.
someone to be together black and white together because that would make them grey.
Yes. And then they would be the grey.
But maybe this... there you go, David Icke. This is my cue for David Icke. Iran is actually a lizard. This is the problem.
Yes, the whole country is actually one
It's a big fat lizard.
It's just no one's realised it yet.
But that's the thing. Or maybe, actually, we're all lizards and Iran is actually human. And the joke is on us. I'm just saying.
You've got me thinking now. I'm confused.
No, don't do that. That actually gonna hurt you. That will hurt. I do that sometimes and actually hurt my head. I have migraine because of it.
Okay, now let's quickly just on, as we're wrapping up, I just want to say one important thing. We've got this clown Tony Blair saying this, right? And you have AIPAC saying the same thing, and you have the Saudis. Now, people might say that, well, the Saudis don't quite say stuff like that. Okay, guys, I got proof for you.
Yes, they do.
Right?
You just don't know, you don't read the translations, but yes, they do.
Yeah. The thing is, there's a really interesting article, which is out of Al Watan News, which is Arabic, I know. There's a translation of it.
I'm just like, when I hear Al Watan, I'm getting scared already.
Now, what we can see in this article, you've got a fellow by the name of Mohammed bin Nayef, who was the then Crown Prince. He, along with the president of one organization by the name of AIPAC, somebody by the name of Lillian Pincus, did say, and I quote, "The Saudi prince welcomed the organization, AIPAC's, stance on Iran's nuclear program and expressed gratitude to the president of AIPAC and other officials who stood against Iran's excessive demands in the region and around the world."
Oh, you mean like for peace?
Well, clearly. I mean, this was in 2016. You've already got these dogs of these scum of Saudi, of Wahhabistan. They're already bombing Yemen. They're already doing their whole white helmet BS in Syria. They're already like bolstering Daesh in Iraq. They've been trying to use groups like Jundullah to do all sorts of damage in Iran. They've already had a meeting with the scum of the earth known as the MEK, or the, as we call them, the Munafiqeen Khalq organization. And yes, I said Munafiqeen because these are hypocrites of the highest order. They've already been with them. They've sat down, and Saudis, the Wahhabis, have turned around and said, "We give support to Maryam Rajavi," who is like, believe me, Maryam Rajavi.
See, there's people that just like, just bleep it. Just don't say the names. No, I can't. I mean, seriously, I can't stand that woman. But okay, so hang on. So
I actually think someone should do the world a service.
And what?
Maryam Rajavi and the Sheikh of Saudi, just put them together. They will themselves, on their own, destroy the gene pool.
Oh, that's
the gene pool will destroy itself.
Cool, man. That's really cool.
The gene pool will destroy itself.
So you had a little bitsy prince of like Wahhabistan. He's actually in agreement with the big bad wolf Zayo.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
You know,
oh my God.
I know.
So was it like a convention for retarded sociopaths high on capsicum? I'm just asking because it's just like, you put Zayo, Wahhabos in just one room and then things start to happen. Bad things start to happen.
Well,
Question,
this is the thing.
question, it's an important one. Was the light on or off? Because I need to know.
We have reports that the light was off.
Yeah,
but we've also heard.
Because I'm sure Captagon was flowing from the windows.
I think it was being injected intravenously.
I think it actually, yes, maybe that's the problem.
Maybe they had Captagon with a little bit of Viagra mixed in.
Oh God!
Just because.
Because otherwise it's not fun, is it?
And on that ray of sunshine and lovely optimism, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to call it a day. This episode has gone a little bit longer than we wanted, but it's fine. You can tolerate it. You're on your drive to work. You're just listening to these two guys, she and he. So all is good in the world. Thank you very much for tuning in. And please don't forget to subscribe. It's that button down there. And we'll see you in the next one. Have a lovely week. Bye.